The sound of the morning bell echoed through Ridgeview High, sharp and cold like the wind that blew through the front doors. Students rushed down the halls, laughter and sneakers bouncing off the walls, but Malik walked slower than usual. Today wasn't just another school day, it was the day he had to face Mr. Carter. Mr. Carter was the strictest history teacher in the school. Rumor said he'd once made a student rewrite a 10-page essay because of one wrong date. Malik had turned in his essay late, and he already knew what was coming. When he entered the classroom, the air felt heavy. Mr. Carter stood by the board, arms crossed, a single paper in his hand, Malik's essay. "Late work again," he said flatly. "Do you think history waits for anyone, Mr. Davis?" Malik lowered his head. "I had to take care of my little sister last night. My mom was at work." The teacher's eyes softened for a moment, but only for a moment. "Responsibility doesn't excuse discipline," he said quietly. "Stay after class." The lesson dragged on. Malik's mind wasn't on the Civil War. It was on his sister Mia, who had been coughing all night. He thought about the medicine he still needed to buy, and how he'd have to walk home in the rain again because Thebus money was gone. When the bell rang, everyone rushed out laughing and free. Malik stayed seated. Mr. Carter closed the door. "You're a smart kid, Malik," he began, "but you can't keep using excuses. You have potential, but potential means nothing without consistency." The words hit hard. Malik wanted to yell that he wasn't making excuses, that life outside school was harder than anyone knew. But instead, he just said, "I'll do better." Mr. Carter nodded. "I believe you will," he said, then surprised Malik by handing him an envelope. "There's a scholarship program I think you should apply for. It's for students who face tough situations but still try." Malik blinked in disbelief. "You're giving this to me?" "You've earned a chance," Mr. Carter said simply. "Now take it." That night, Malik filled out the scholarship form at the kitchen table while Mia slept on the couch. He wrote honestly about his struggles, his mother's double shifts, his late nights, his determination to graduate. When he finished, he looked at the clock, 1:23 a.m. His eyes were tired, but his heart was on fire. A week later, an announcement came over the intercom. "Congratulations to Malik Davis, this year's recipient of the Ridgeview Resilience Scholarship." The whole class clapped. Mr. Carter just smiled, proud but quiet. After school, Malik walked up to his teacher. "I guess history does wait for some people," he joked. Mr. Carter chuckled. "No, Malik, you just made history for yourself." As Malik walked home, the rain started again, light and steady. But this time, he didn't mind. Each drop felt like a reminder of how far he'd come and how much further he could go. When he reached his front door, he heard Mia's laughter through the window. For the first time in a long time, Malik smiled to himself and whispered,
Here's part 2 of the story for Malik Davis, picking up after he wins the scholarship and heads into college. It was late August when Malik arrived at the gates of Ridgeview State University, the transcript of his scholarship still in his backpack and hope heavy in his heart. The old oak trees lining the campus seemed taller than he remembered from the tour, as though they themselves were watching him, testing him. On move-in day, he lugged his boxes up to the dorm room on the 3rd floor. Across the room sat his roommate, Jamal, tall and easy smiling, surrounded by video game posters and 2 mini fridge magnets. Malik introduced himself, voice wavering just slightly. Jamal said, "Cool story about the scholarship. I heard about your high school, respect." The words hit him like a wave, because nobody back home ever said, "respect," so plainly. Classes began 2 days later. Malik sat in his first lecture, sweated palms on the desk, listening as the professor laid out expectations, heavy readings, weekly essays, group projects. He thought of how he used to just get by in high school, balancing chores and school and life. Here the bar was higher. He felt unsteady. He got his first assignment: write a reflection on how your background shapes your view of this subject. Malik looked at the blank page late that night. Mia's cough in his ear from home, the bus money he used. He typed about responsibility, about being watched, about wanting more than just getting by. He submitted it and nearly didn't breathe until he saw the grade, B+, with a note, "Good insight. Push further." At the same time, off campus, his mother called, "Malik, don't forget you promised to help with sister's tuition for summer program next year." His heart sank a little. He realized the scholarship was a bright window, but it didn't mean his burdens went away. He still had to walk tall with them. Around mid-semester he began missing weekly office hours. He told himself he was busy, group meetings, work-study job, dorm events. But then one afternoon, Jamal knocked. "Man, you okay? You've been missing." Malik forced a laugh and said yes, but later that night he lay awake thinking of home, his sister's cough, and the blank page of his next required essay. One evening he got a failing grade on a tough midterm. His knees shook. He called his mother and told her, "I messed up." She said quietly, "You still have time, Malik. This is bigger than one test." But the words did little to stop his doubt. He thought, maybe I don't belong. The walls of academia felt cold, unfamiliar. And though he was surrounded by classmates who seemed confident, he carried a hidden fear that his story of walking home in rain and late nights might somehow mark him as less than. Then Jamal invited him to join the study group. Malik said yes. He sat there among majors and mind-blown classmates. They asked questions he had never thought to ask. They challenged each other. Malik spoke up, once. His voice cracked. Then again. He got pulled in. His insight into real-life responsibility, his unwillingness to quit, became something others noticed. By the end of the semester, Malik's grades improved. Not perfect, but trending upward. He stayed late after class with the professor, asking about readings, about writing better essays. He learned that scholarship wasn't the finish line, it was a torch. He used it, and sometimes dropped it, but picked it back up. After winter break, he visited home. His mother said, "You look different." Malik realized he had changed, not in attitude only, but in purpose. His sister Mia hugged him and said, "You did good, Malik," and he believed her. Spring arrived and he joined a student mentor program for younger first-year students from similar backgrounds. Malik listened to one freshman say, "I don't know if I can do this," and Malik said, "I used to walk home in rain. This feels easier." The freshman smiled. In May, the semester ended. Malik walked across the quad in cap and gown, not for graduation, but for his first recognition, outstanding first-year scholar. His mother and sister were there, cheering. His professor stood up and said, "Malik Davis reminds us that history isn't just made in textbooks, it's lived." That night, as Malik lay in his dorm room, he looked at the letter awarding his scholarship, at the picture of his sister, and said aloud, "This is just the beginning." The torch was lit. He would keep running.